The Vietnam War. In the 1800s, France took control of Vietnam for its valuable exports, rice and rubber. Laos and Cambodia, Vietnam's neighbors, were also colonized by the French. They all came together to form a colony called French Indochina. Many of the farmers in Vietnam grew poor as the French took all their land. The Vietnamese grew poorer as the French became richer. During World War II, Ho Chi Minh, a Vietnamese leader, began developing the Viet Minh Army to fight against the French rulers. Then in 1946, war broke out between the French and the Viet Minh. The American president, Harry Truman, decided to help France. The problem was that the U.S. was involved in the Cold War, which was between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Since Ho Chi Minh was a communist, that greatly worried President Truman because of the domino effect. The domino theory was the belief that if Vietnam became communist, then the rest of Asia would too. The U.S. started by giving money to the French to help them win the war. However, it did not do much as the Viet Minh was winning battles in North Vietnam. In 1954, France and the Viet Minh signed a treaty stating that communist North Vietnam would be separated from anti-communist South Vietnam. The citizens of South Vietnam was not in favor of their government. Therefore, the Ho Chi Minh Trail was in use to supply the communism uprising in the South. The U.S. supported the anti-communist South by giving them money and advisors. In 1964, North Vietnamese boats fired torpedoes on an American ship in an event called the Gulf of Tonkin. The Gulf of Tonkin Resolution was passed by Congress due to the convincing of President Lyndon Johnson. This allowed the U.S. to use military force in the Vietnam War. It started with the U.S., but later it became 500,000 American soldiers getting involved. Although this war was expected to be short and easy with the U.S. involvement, that was not the case. Many battles were fought in the dense jungle of Vietnam, which the American soldiers did not equip for. Since they were up against the Viet Cong, Americans were at a disadvantage due to them fighting on the Viet Cong's homeland. The technique the Viet Cong used was their guerrilla warfare tactics. This meant they used small bands of soldiers to stage ambushes in different places in Vietnam. This war soon became very unpopular among Americans because the truth of this horrible war was seen through TVs and magazines. President Johnson eventually stopped sending troops to Vietnam and decided not to run for another term as president. Therefore, in 1968, Richard Nixon became president, promising that he would remove the U.S. from the Vietnam War. Although he did not accomplish this during his first term, he eventually was able to in 1973 during his second term as president. By the end of this war, 58,000 American soldiers lost their lives and 1.2 million Vietnamese were dead. After this war, the North and South unified as one country and was under communist rule. During this time, Americans were very split in their opinions on this war, and still remains to be to this day.